So the first thing that we're gonna need to do is we're gonna shut down the system. Basically, we're isolating the Aquasana here and here.
Okay.
So once you isolate these, you can bleed down the pressure here. This might squirt a little bit of water out. You should be able to do it by hand.
What exactly are you turning? Oh, you're just turning that.
I'm doing that to relieve what pressure is built up in here.
Counterclockwise, you did that?
Yep.
Okay.
So depending on how much you open it, it may squirt out a bit of water, especially if it's facing that way. I've got it kind of turned in right now. It should only take a few, maybe a minute or so to bleed down the pressure at most, depending on how quick it is or how much open you have it.
Okay.
Once the pressure's off of that, you should just be able to unscrew it. Now, you're going to get a bit of water and this might even drop and splash.
Okay.
But that's kind of all part of the process. Let me see that project. So your post filter is not too bad. It's still got, it's slightly brown, but it's not the worst I've seen either. It's definitely not white, so with where it's at, you can continue to change these on this same time frame. You could even possibly let it postpone it a little bit and let it go a little bit longer, just based on the color of it.
And this is always the first one to change.
You can do them in either order.
Okay, well, I just like what you're doing.
Yeah, there's no specific way. That one's good. Sometimes you might have to wash these out and rinse them out, especially if there's sediment in that.
Yeah.
But this one, just with the condition and everything else, that looks pretty good. So you can put the new filter in.
It doesn't matter one way or the other? Nope.
It can go either way on that.
Oh, perfect.
Just sits right in the middle.
Okay.
There's a little notch that fits in. And then we put this back in place. And to tighten these, because they are sealed with a gasket, you only need to do like hand tight on tightening them.
Good.
If you find it's dripping a little bit or anything like that, you can
Like a quarter more.
You can give it a little bit more, but usually it's not necessary.
Okay.
You don't want to tighten them. You want to make sure you close that back up too, or else when you turn the water on.
Is that a hand tight, or do you need to?
Just
like
hand tight.
Okay.
Hand tight should be fine.
Okay.
You can use it if it starts to get stiff or anything like that. You can use a Phillips on top, but you shouldn't have to.
Okay.
Pretty much the exact same thing on this one that we did over there.
So do you
Actually,
have to
this one,
bleed that one?
you don't necessarily have to because it's all part of the system when you bleed it once. Okay. But it is nice to do it just in case it gets a pocket somewhere.
Oh, you sure know your stuff. I'm so glad it was you, Mark. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. And then based on that, you could probably go another year or like a whole year on this one.
Wow.
And that's everything out of this draining out. This one's gonna hold a bit more water just due to this container here. So you can see the difference.
Yep.
It's got a little bit to it,
But it still would have been fine.
it still would have been fine. You could have probably waited the entire year on that. But now you know, based on your system,
Okay.
that's about the time frame you're looking for.
Yep. Go ahead.
So once everything's hand tight, make sure you close this back up. Once we open up the water, there will probably be some air in the lines. So what I typically will do is open the inlet fairly slow. Just make sure everything pressurizes up. You'll hear water run for a little bit. As you turn it on, just make sure that nothing's spraying water, nothing's leaking.
If it is, you just give it a little quarter.
Yeah, you can always shut it back off, turn it, give it a little bit of a snug. Once you hear the water stop running, once you hear that stop running, you can open this one up.
What is that one? Oh,
This is going into the house.
That's in the
yeah,
house.
so
Okay. That's
into
from
the
the system.
into the filter, out to the house.
To the system, from the system.
Exactly. And then once that's open, you just need to open up the cold on that. Probably let it run for a minute. You should, at some point, start hearing the air spurt out. Once all the air is done, then you can turn it off. This might even be a low spot, so you might even have to turn it on upstairs in order to get that air bubble up. Let's see what that does.
Do you want me to go upstairs and turn one on? Oh, there it is.
Like I said, it takes a
Sure
minute.
know your stuff. See, I'm glad I got this on camera because I would have, when that happened, if I hadn't gotten it and that happened, I would have went, oh, I did something wrong.
And there could still be a little bit of air in the system. You might even find it got caught somewhere along the line. Nothing harmful or anything like that. Just something more to be aware of when you open up other faucets. But once the air stops, you can shut it off and you are all done.